Hi there, welcome to Virtual Family Storytime. It's a little cold out here today. I'm glad I remembered my jacket. Well, it looks like winter is in the air. The landscape's turning white, animals are hibernating, but winter is also a time for wishes. And that is exactly what our characters are going to do. So let's start. Our first story today is about a little penguin and a little penguin that wants to add some color to all of his white winter snow. Our book is called The Magical Snow Garden. Far away, snowflakes twinkled and lived a penguin named Wellington. Wellington loved his snowy world, sliding down hills, digging for treasure, and sharing books with his very best friend. Rosemary, Rosemary, look at this garden, he cried. It's amazing. Let's grow one just like it. Percy, Percy, called Wellington, I'm going to grow a garden. Oh, Wellington, chuckled Percy, that's impossible. We don't grow gardens, dear. We fish, smiled Mabel. I wanted to fly once, Ivan explained, but penguins can't fly, and flowers can't grow in the snow. It's just too cold. But Ivan, said Wellington, how will we know unless we try? Wellington's books all said the same thing. To grow flowers, he needed seeds. But there weren't any seeds in their snowy white world. Not a one. There must be a way, Rosemary chirped as she shared a cookie. Wellington looked at the shiny blue wrapper that fell on the floor. With a fold here and there, it was just like a tulip, cried Wellington. I can make it instead. So Wellington filled his biggest net with things to make his garden. Wrappers, buttons, pieces of Ivan's old clocks, and pearly white seashells that Rosemary had given him. For days, Wellington traced around, folded and twirled, glittered and glued, dug and planted until... Ta-da! Wow, look at all that Wellington made. Now all of the wrappers were beautiful flowers, and the buttons were bright bumblebees. Clockwork trees dotted the hills and sprinkled with the soft white snow. Look at all of that, all those colors and all of the snow. Look, Percy pointed. Wow, gasped Mabel. He's done it, smiled Ivan. Wellington's made a magical snow garden, they called. But the garden had no walls to keep out the wind. Look at that blowing wind. And that very night, the strong wind whipped and whirled and roared and whoosh. All of Wellington's garden was blown away. Oh, look how fast the wind's going. Every last petal. It's okay, dear, said Mabel. You tried your best. They brought him warm milk and cookies, but Wellington shook his head. No thanks, he sighed. Just then he heard a flutter of wings, and Rosemary dropped something in his lap. Slowly, Wellington smoothed out the shiny blue wrapper. Then he folded it just so. The first tulip for my next garden, Wellington cried. This time, Wellington's friends helped make his wonderful new garden. Percy built a wall to keep out the wind, and Mabel made a beautiful fountain. And Ivan's trees had clockwork birds that sang. Then Rosemary flew off to tell the world about her friend's amazing garden. Wow, look at all the wonderful things they've created. It's so bright and shiny against the winter snow. And the whole wide world came hurrying to see it. There were bright pink flamingos, koalas and camels, and elephants with trumpeting trunks. There were zebras, giraffes, and a bouncing kangaroo. Wow, Wellington gasped. Wellington, called Ivan, you were right. You never know what you can do until you try. Look, Ivan's flying. Remember how he always wanted to do that? Hooray! Hooray for Wellington! Everyone cheered, and his magical garden in the snow. Look at that! They're all having so much fun. And Wellington shared such a beautiful thing within his garden. Some beautiful colors and everything he made himself. That is a wonderful way for Wellington's winter wish to come true. Well, let's see what our next character is going to be wishing for. Our second book today is about two bunnies and the wonderful winter wishes that they have. And it's called Bunny Wishes, A Winter's Tale. Violet Teeny and Violet Tino, or Teeny and Tino for short, were the closest of friends. They lived together and shared happy times, hopping in the sun and chatting with their friends, Mr. and Mrs. Mouse, and all of the baby mice. All through the fresh spring days and the sunny summer days, they hopped and skipped and frisked and frolicked. But then the cold days came. It was winter. It was a time for squalls and storms, sun and winds and icy chills, and finally, snow. Snowflakes soft as bunny tails fell and tickled noses. Snow drifted, snow settled. The world became crisp and white. Everybody loved the snow, but the new baby mice loved it most of all. It was their very first snow. Look at all of them having so much fun in the snow. In the dark and icy nights of winter, the two bunnies kept each other warm. Snug in their burrow, they started telling each other stories, singing songs, snoozing and dreaming and wishing. No, said Teeny, this is a very special time of year. Your dearest wishes can come true. And all you have to do is make a list of everything you want and pin it on one of the hollow logs. Let's do it, they said. This is Tino's wish list. This is what I want. Please, lots and lots of good food, heaps of sweet flowers that grow in the sunny days, tender leaves that are always there, one soft blanket to hug and snuggle on cold nights, and a telescope so I can see the twinkling stars. Thank you. Love, Tino. This is Teeny's list. Please, can I have some warm gloves for my paws and a hat that keeps my ears cozy every time the wind blows? Also, plenty of sweetest, luscious berries for me to nibble on. The little red ones are those I love the best. Thank you for reading this. Best wishes, love, Teeny. The two hopeful bunnies hopped over the snowy hill and pinned their lists to the hollow log. I hope my wishes come true. So do I. For a while they sat there with Mr. and Mrs. Mouse, and they hoped their wishes came true too. They watched the baby mice playing in the snow. The baby mice loved playing in the snow. They played with everything they found. They played with twigs, stones, leaves, and on the slidey ice. The bunnies watched and smiled. Then off they hopped back to their comfy burrows. Look at everything the little baby mice are doing. This one's throwing some snowballs. These are sliding on some leaves. This one's made a snow mouse. And then these are sliding on the ice. They really are having some fun. Soon an icy wind grew. First it whistled. Then it whooshed. And then it whooshed. It whooshed those lists right off the hollow log and into the air. Oh no, where the wishes will go. The letters went up, up, and away, round and round and round, and then they fell. And this is where they fell. Oof, went the baby mice, And oh, it's dark, said the baby mice. And what's that? Said the baby mice. It's a bit of the sky has fallen, said the tiniest mouse. And then he started to cry. Oh no! But after a while, they were very pleased to find 2 such big new playthings. Now they could fly kites and make sleds and telescopes and little hats. When they were tired of playing, the little mice toddled home with their new toys. Oh, look, there's Teeny and Tino. I wonder where wishes go. They see that their wish lists aren't on the hollow log. Look what we've got, said the baby mice. Mr. and Mrs. Mouse said, oh no, you've wrecked the bunny's wish lists. The bunny's wishes have been blown away and toyed with and nibbled at, and the little mice began to cry. Luckily, Mr. and Mrs. Mouse knew exactly what to do, how to put things right. So they set to work, ripping and wrapping and finding and folding, licking and sticking, planning and wishing and smiling and hugging and kissing. It was a very busy night. Look at all of them working together. I wonder what they're going to make. At midnight, when the stars were out, the mice set off to deliver the wishes. There they are. It really is a cold night. So when Teeny and Tino opened their eyes, this is what they saw. Wish you heaps of love to keep you warm. Someone who will always see the best in you. A paw to hold, cozy ears, snuggles and hugs, and lots of love for you forever. The bunny smiled. These really are the best wishes we could ever have, they said. And that's the end of Bunny Wishes. Oh, wasn't that sweet? Look at how all of the little mice family put together their wishes for them. Oh, I guess it really is the best wishes that the bunnies could make. Well, let's see what our next characters are going to wish. Our last story for today is about a bear and a star, and it's aptly called The Bear and the Star. So let's see what the wishes are in this book. Early one December morning, Bear awoke and turned toward the horizon to a star. A new star, barely visible, yet larger than any before. It was time. Bear stood and began his search for a tree that would be strong, a tree that would be tall, a tree that would be the center of all to come. I wonder where he'll find it. And then, on the top of a windswept hill, Bear found the tree. An evergreen, more majestic than any before. Wow, look how strong and tall that tree looks. There it is. Bear roared to the east, and then to the west. He bellowed to the north, and then to the south. And because it was time, his call echoed through canyon and valley, between boulder and butte, across prairie and lake. Bear lumbered through the woods and found squirrel and salamander, cardinal and raccoon. I wonder where they're going. He also found animals from everywhere. Look at all that. As the stars shined brighter, Bear roared louder than before, his voice booming across mesa and meadow, over sea and peak, from cliff and bluff. People put down hammer and hoe, grass and thatch, knife and rice, shield and sword. It was time. Look at everyone heading in one direction. Then they gathered, mask and drum, scroll and shawl, candle and copper, flour and oil. The star rose higher in the sky. People brought friend and neighbor, son and daughter, mother and father, and faraway family. From city and farm, across ocean and desert, from mountain and island. Look at everyone that's there. To the tree that grew stronger and taller under a star larger and brighter than any before, because it was time. There they are, and there's a star. It was time for peace. Oh, and that's the end of The Bear and the Star. Isn't that great? I love how the bear was able to gather everyone together, creatures and people from all over the world, for some peace. Well, I hope you enjoyed our story time today, and I think every day is a beautiful day to give and receive some kindness and some peace. And today, that is my winter wish for you. Till next time.